Well, it didn't rain as bad as I thought it would, as predicted. It didn't rain as bad as predicted. And it didn't get very, very cold. So it wasn't the worst kind of night, but it was bad enough. Luckily, for the most part, the horses raced good today. Now, I started my day in Ontario, and we watched JK Victory race. Now, I wouldn't say one of his better performances, but there was a lot to unpack from this performance. First off, he looked a lot like he did at Miami Valley before we brought him out of there and did some vet work on him. So we know, we have a pretty good indication that, one, a few things are bothering him. Two, most importantly, we likely know where they are. So we'll get him looked at on Monday. We'll give him next week off for two reasons. The first one being the work that is likely coming for JK Victory. Secondly, he did show a little bit of blood again today. Not as much as he did last time, but more than enough to say, okay, first off, let's take the blood work, make sure there's no white count or any infection at play with this horse. That's number one. Take a look at his blood work and see what is going and what is not going on right in that blood. Get the vet work done to him, give him a week off, dry him up, let the vet work take a hold, and then we'll go back and race him again in 2 weeks. I mean, all things being said, he didn't look great. He didn't race great. He still paced 52-4 with the track rated off 2 seconds and with some decent horses. Anytime you get the condition races, you're going to have a number of horses dropping out of higher conditions. And quite frankly, I'm not really familiar with all the horses he raced against, but no slouches to go a mile 115 apiece on a sloppy track. So JK Victory, a lot to take away from today. Not his best performance at all, but a lot of ways that we can improve him and help him out moving forward, and that will all start on Monday morning. Now, the rest of the day was pretty good, quite frankly. Trosa, that was a blistering mile. Finished second to Redwood Hanover. Very nice horse, headed to the Open for sure. Likely the Graduate, I guess. I don't know. No, he's 5. He can't go to the Graduate. But Open levels, this horse is making his way back up through the classes and looked pretty good, considering about 40 minutes later I watched the Open go in 52 and another high-end class go in 53, and know that Trosa himself paced 51-3, and that class went in 50 in a bit. And he came from nowhere to finish second. He's been racing really, really strongly like that, and very impressed with Trosa's mile tonight. Great drive by Phil Houdon, and the horse really, really raced well. Now, gorgeous package. I had told everybody I felt bad. Greg said he came here to watch a race, flew in from Philadelphia. He said, well, you know, she drew the rail. You've been ducking her. You said she'd be strong this week. I did expect her to be strong. I don't think the recall did us any favors. And then when we come right back out, she wasn't bad after the recall, but it does take a little bit out of them, right? And then leave with her. Out of the clouds comes Aaron. I let him go. He ducks to the lead and jams the brakes on. We're up there 27 apiece. I know that Aaron's horse is like 10, 12, 13-1, something like that. Do I want to follow him, especially when I know Kurt and Ronnie are going to be coming at some point? My concern would be getting trapped in the 2-hole. I said, you know what? Aaron's already got the air on. I can loop back to the front, the half 57 apiece, 58, no problem. I look at the TV and Keith Cash is coming. Now, I've already 2-moved her. Keith Cash is coming quickly at the half. Takes a pretty good bite out of her down the backstretch. We go 125, and then he makes a break. He might have actually put me away in the turn if he was pacing cleanly, but made a break on the outside, and as soon as he get up out of the way, out comes Aaron. So I really had no rest at all, maybe for a 16th of a mile in the race with aged horses. And I don't mean to say that I'm making excuses for her, but it was not an easy mile for her. Aaron jumped out and jumped on her. She never really let go. She fizzled a bit, but man, it was a hard-fought race the entire way. Somebody got through on the inside to beat me, but she did hold off an open pacer of Ronnie's from the outside for third. So I thought she raced pretty well and pretty valiantly. Was she a little bit short? Did those couple of strong moves take its toll in the mile? Was she simply not as good as I thought she was? Well, I'll tell you what. To be sure, we're going to take her blood on Monday also. and take a look at it. But I don't think she was really that bad. Maybe she just needs stretched out. Her first, tough test as a 3-year-old came as her third start in. Remember, she's had 3 starts, but both her first 2 outings were from the outside, and I just ducked her both times. Jason had said to me, and quite fairly, after the race, for the love of God, we got to be able to find a non-winners of 4 or 5 or something for her. Yeah, that class went 52-1 at the Meadows. Goes in 51-4 at Poconos, goes in 51-4 at Miami Valley, or 52. There's no real easy spots for her, and if there was, that might be it tonight, right? 55 last quarter at 30 seconds in the mud. So let's say they go 54. I don't think it's any easier or tougher than it would be anywhere else. So I think we'll just come back next week, maybe look for a little more conservative drive, get her in the up close if we could draw good again and get away 2, 3, 4, sit, and let her finish up on her own steam and see how she does like that. It may have just been that I expected a little bit more from her tonight that she was able to give, and that middle half, when Keith kind of chewed at her a little bit, I think that might have sealed the deal. Had Keith not run at me in the third quarter, perhaps Erin wins the race anyway, and I'm second. Is that such a bad thing? Would that have been a bad mile for her? I don't know. I wasn't disappointed. I didn't feel that she let me down. If anybody let anybody down, I let her down. And I think we'll just come back, as I said, with a little more conservative drive next week, but not a bad mile 56 in the mud. And it was a muddy track. Not mud on top per se. It was hard, wet, and very inclement. I thought a good mile overall from her. Rosa and Alexandra, I looked at the TV leaving. I knew that the horse to probably beat was Nick Clagg's horse. And when I looked at the TV, he was the only one with his nose on the gate. So I was in no hurry. I just let her float off the car, let Nick get to the front easy. I don't know if he thought I was going to remove or not, but I was happy where I was. And quite frankly, I was fine with him going a half and 3. Go half and 13 for all I care. I was just looking to braven up this filly and have her sharp. And when I caught up to him in the last turn, I'm like, geez, I don't know. Girl, you're supposed to pounce on this horse. And then I kicked the earplugs. Different horse. Last 8th was very, very strong. I was happy with what I saw, and quite frankly, kind of what the doctor ordered was a nice soft mile like that from her, confidence-wise, for us, for her, for everybody. I thought she was very, very good tonight. And then I got to watch Neptune race. He raced pretty good, finished second. The horse, a well-meant winner on the front end. I don't think there was a scenario where that horse was going to lose, but Neptune actually raced pretty decently to be second. And then Aunt Lily, a lot went on in that race too. I tried to get out and follow Ronnie, but I didn't want to stir her up. She's a little strong in the face tonight. We're going to make a few little changes next week. I'd said to Jason, switch from a cord to a chain on her, let her let go of that bit a little bit. I think we should try her with an open bridle on, take that closed bridle off her also, and go with an open bridle. What they did do was a hell of a job getting her off the line. I trained her a month ago and she was on the right line, still like she was all last year. Wasn't on it that bad tonight. In fact, I had no problem kind of fishing her out, getting her out in the 3-wide path around the last turn. Thought she raced good. Her line is a little deceptive. She was making good gains late in the mile, but again, kind of fought with me for most of the mile. I run up on top of Logan down the backstretch. I felt bad. Ty's horse left and got parked. And, I know he was trying to get in front of me, but every time he'd back up, the 2 and 3 horse would kind of back up also. Now I'm left. I'm going to have to, literally drag her back to get him in front to come. And it just didn't make much sense for her first start. I was happy that she was bottled up. She was a little aggressive tonight, but I think she'll be that much better next week. As I said to Jason, we'll put a head check on her. She doesn't really need it that bad, but everything just a little bit. Maybe a birch bed, open bridle, chain instead of the cord. I think once we get her to settle, we can go back to a set of earplugs. Listen, it was her first start of her sophomore season in the mud again. That might have been a softer crew than the stakes caliber horses from last year, but you got to get out and get racing. And I think it was a decent mile from her tonight. But the biggest takeaway for me was get her to settle, get her to behave, and I think she'll have a little more pop on the end of the mile. I think I might have kind of wrestled with her a little bit, taken some of the wind out of her sails when we did get free. Not generally her type of racing too, so everything was a bit new for her, a new year racing in the mud and racing from a locked-in position. I thought she raced okay But she's obviously going to have to pick it up in the future. So we'll come out swinging again next week. A few little equipment changes with her, and I think all of them cumulatively will help her as she races next week. So not a bad day. Little flat from JK Victory. He threw up a 6. Then we had a 2 with Trosa, a 3 with Gorgeous Package, a win with Rosa and Alexandra. Neptune got a deuce, and Aunt Lily get out late to finish 5th. Not a bad mile from her, and not a bad night at the office at all. Jason's busy tomorrow. He's on the road. He's got Rock Shining Star, Save America in Miami Valley. I'll be staying here. We got Patrick the Piranha and our boy, Looks Like Money, racing at Northfield Park. That is on Sunday. Monday, we have Jimboree at the Poconos. We'll see how she does with Jim Pangliano. And then we have Delicious Stone DK, and Spitfire is going to be racing on Monday also. Oh, we have everything updated even to Tuesday now. Admiral Deal, Never Lose Felix, and Blue Ventura. All 3 of those horses got pretty good shots on Tuesday. So a decent end to the week. We still have Sunday coming up tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a great start to the week. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the opening with Amy on Sunday, as we've done the last few Sundays on our ride over to Starbucks in the morning. That's always fun. Just a night to catch your breath, collect your thoughts, and take a look at the stable and how we did all week on a Sunday morning, and that's exactly what I plan to do with Amy. So, for the evening, we only have 18 minutes left on Saturday. I hope you had and are having a great weekend. I hope we all have a great week next week at the track. Not a bad week thus far at the office. We're not done yet. We still have Patrick the Piranha, Looks Like Money, Save America, Rock Shining Star, 4 of our heaviest hitters in tomorrow. A little unfamiliar territory. Outside, first start back for Rock Shining Star. Most likely a training trip. Got the rail, but in the backup class with Save America. Somewhat of a training trip with him also. And then we have Patrick. Look for a good trip with him. And Looks Like Money, I'm curious how he's going to get around Northfield. We're all going to see together tomorrow. Take care.